Hi all, welcome back. I'm Mike. Some of you might remember that a while back a friend gave me most of their model railway to use or pass on, and I made an earlier video showing the tear down of part of my loft layout and the beginning of the track work to replace it using donated items. Then progress slowed up, mainly due to the cold temperatures which increased drying time in the loft and also induced mild hypothermia. So once the track was more or less reliable, I started to add some lumps and bumps. And in this corner, one of the three storage sidings runs below the outer track, and the tunnel's lined throughout with cereal box card. So using old school technology, so that's screwed up newspaper, brown paper and glue, it started to take shape, with the addition of some cereal packet lattice work to help form some of the cliffs. On the other corner, I started making an incline from some old cardboard box panels. I cut the profile of the track bed out first and then started adding the embankment. So working upside down, using a bit of mini trunking to start it off, and then adding the curved sections after that by eye. As usual, the spare drill batteries were great for applying pressure till the glue set. So once dry, the whole thing was turned over, stuck down onto the baseboard. Eventually got the two girder bridges back to their original position, which meant that the track could be added. So track laying took a while, as I was relying upon gluing down a section at a time and then leaving it to set. I did find a problem with the tunnel liner, as it developed a kink which tended to knock coaches over as they passed. So I might have to rethink this a bit. I'll probably end up cutting the whole thing out from the side. Meanwhile, clear up on the other side of the board started to make space for other developments. Work starting on the plot lands, which is a series of terraces where housing would appear. One of the things I found during dummy runny sessions was that one of the flex joints I'd made had started to deteriorate. The cut end wasn't very square and the fish plate was starting to split, and most things crossing this joint derailed. So the overhead view shows why. There's a narrowing of the gauge and some awkward joins combining to cause problems. I decided it was time to fix it, and so I started to get some tools together. I'm able to work now from an access panel in the middle of the layout, but that does mean that you have to get everything together before I crawl in there. So the tracks are all stuck down with copy decks, so they're quite easy to lift again. And then I use a piece of an old piece of cladding. On the back there's a groove, and I cut on that, and then this lifts the track up above the other rails, but it also gives me a straight edge channel to cut against. I cut a new section of track to meet it, and the ends tidied up with a file to get rid of burrs and of course to improve the electrical conductivity. So rinse repeat with the other end of the track, and then glue and pin the new track into a better curve, add some weight and wait. We now fast forward to some of the testing. It's quite a steep gradient on the top track, and it's non-ferrous rails, so there's probably a need for banking engines to assist heavy trains up the hill. So this was a quick test to see how the three ginties handled it. So mixed results. They all work fine reversing, but when going forward the lead engine in particular fails and starts to stop, which is strange. Generally though, considering these are all old trying wheels, solid wheeled ginties, they behave very well on Code 100. So my daughter's dogs came to visit for the day. When we were driving them home, we noticed that the younger one was making a lot of noise. So we did record it, and I've added it in here. I'm not sure if he's actually DCC, but he's certainly chipped. I've spotted quite a lot of back-to-back problems with the track. It's not something that's usually been a problem with the mainly System 4 steel track around the rest of the loft. But I did test these LNER teaks with a back-to-back gauge. The wheels didn't want to move, so do I really want to re-wheel them? It's a lot of money. They're also running with the tender-driven Scotsman, which copes quite well when everything's flat, but it won't consider a gradient, and it doesn't like going in reverse much either, and that's with new friction tyres. By contrast, the freight train, mainly Hornby 00 tracks, just happily goes round without complaints. It's probably because the original Hornby 00 2-rail track was very similar to Code 100 in profile. So that's about it for now. The eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted that there's a working colour light signal now in place too. This is protecting the drop-down bridge section between the two parts of the layout. There's a bit of circuitry involved in that, so it will feature in another video at some point. So until then, keep safe everyone, and keep running trains. Bye.